My book I read for EDU 210 was Understanding Learning, The How, The Why, The What by Ruby K. Payne, PhD. The book was short but sweet. It was full of information that I feel will actually really help me as a future educator. Just to relay a couple main points of the book, it talked about how the brain and the mind work together to learn information, to process it, and to retain it. Another key component of the book was how language and vocabulary play an important role in communication. Everybody's got their own different type of vocabulary style that they talk with. You may use one type with your friends or with your family or your spouse or your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. But teachers have to be able to embrace these different types of vocabulary to get material across. And the main component of the book, which is in the title, the how, the why, the what, it's the crucial part of learning. The one aspect gets a lot of attention while the other two kind of gets thrown off to the side and not as much attention. And that's what the book was trying to address. And the main part that gets noticed is the what. The what is the content that the teacher teaches, whether this be history, math, English, science. It's the material that the teacher has to teach because they have to cover so much in such a short time. And the teachers have to deliberately pick the most important things so they can cover all that they have to cover. And that's the main part that gets included in the learning processes. The other two things, the why and the how, kind of get turned off to the side and not as much attention, which they need more attention. The why deals with why the student should be learning the material. A lot of times teachers don't exactly give the reason why the students are learning. They'll just say, well, you got to know it for the test. And that's not a good, legitimate reason why they need to learn it. Maybe they'll be using this sometime in their future as an adult outside of the classroom, not just strictly to pass a test or a quiz. The students need to have that background of why the information is important to them, to understand. Whether it be basic math or history or just being able to read and write, they got to know. All ages, no matter what, high school or grade school, they need to know why the things they're learning are important. Now the other aspect is the how. The how involves how are you going to teach the material, how are you going to get the points across to the students so that they actually do learn it. Because not every person learns the same, everyone learns differently, and teachers have to be adaptive to get material across to every student. And this may involve doing papers or group activities. And I mean, you can even do games if it helps the student learn and to retain information, do whatever. But the point is, teachers get so stressed out of all the materials they have to teach, they don't get to focus on how they can make the learning process easier. And I feel that's something that's needs more addressed. They need to be able to teach the material in a good way, not just to read stuff out of the book and write definitions down and study it up for over the weekend and then pass the test on the next Monday. You can't do that. You got to be able to teach it in a good and constructive way that the students will learn. And then one last aspect of the book was dealing with difficult students and being able to motivate them. This is a crucial part of the learning process. If students don't have no motivation to learn, they're not going to do well at all in school. They're just going to sit there or, like I said, learn material long enough to pass the class and move up to the next level and eventually graduate. Teachers need to be able to motivate their students to learn in a good educational process. And these things are just a few things that I've learned from the book, especially the how and the why. I hope that as a future educator I will be able to encourage my students to learn and to see why their material is important. But I wanted to be able to relay this information in good constructive ways that the students will be able to learn.